bhavanam sadrisham vijakshwa. Synonyms: tatra, in that, idi krityam, what is necessary to be done, upashiksha, perform, yada, according to, Ubadesham, instruction in scripture, yena, by which, eshaha, this, me, my, karshidaha, emaciated, adiriram saya, due to intense passion not being satisfied, atma, body, siddhyeda, it may be rendered fit, te, for you, krida, excited, manabhava, by emotion, darshidayaha, whom arm struck, dinaha, poor, tat, therefore, isha, O my dear Lord, bhavanam, house, sadrisham, suitable, vijakshwa, please think of. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace is Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Devahudi continued, my dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotion for you. Therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scriptures so that my skinny body, emaciated through unsatisfied passion, may be rendered fit for you. Also, my Lord, please think of a suitable house for this purpose. Purport. The Vedic literatures are not only full of spiritual instruction, but are also instructive in how to prosecute material existence very nicely, with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. Therefore, Devahudi asked her husband how to prepare herself for sex life according to the Vedic instructions. Sex life is especially meant for having good children. The circumstances for creating good children are mentioned in Kama Shastra, the scripture in which suitable arrangements are prescribed for factually glorious sex life. Everything needed is mentioned in the scriptures: what sort of house and decorations there should be, what sort of dress the wife should have, how she should be decorated with ornaments, scents, and other attractive features, etc. With these requisites fulfilled, the husband will be attracted by her beauty and a favorable mental situations will be created. The mental situation at the time of sex life may then be transferred into the womb of the wife, and good children can come out of that pregnancy. Here is a special reference to Devahudi's bodily features. Because she had become skinny, she feared that her body might have no attraction for Kardama. She wanted to be instructed how to improve her bodily condition in order to attract her husband. Sexual intercourse in which the husband is attracted to the wife is sure to produce a male child. But sexual intercourse based on attraction of the wife for the husband may produce a girl. That is mentioned in the Ayurveda. When the passion of the woman is greater, there is a chance of girls being born. When the passion of a man is greater, then there is the possibility of a son. Devahudi wanted the passion of her husband to be increased by the arrangement mentioned in the Kama Shastra. She wanted him to instruct her in that way. And she also requested that he arrange for a suitable house, because the hermitage in which Kardama Muni was living was very simple and completely in the mode of goodness. And there was less possibility of passions being aroused in his heart. Om Jnanatirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stabidam Yena Bhudale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Dadadhi Supadandigam Vandeham Shri Gurum Shri Udabadagamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Regunadhanidam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaidam Savadudam Parijana Sahidam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalitam Shri Vishakhanidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanda Radha Kanda Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarupasya Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Sahana Vavadu Sahanau Bhunaktum Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinamadidamostu Ma Vidushavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for joining this very auspicious Srimad Bhagavatam class in the morning, every day morning. Says that Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. If you hear Srimad Bhagavatam every day, which eradicates Nashta Prayeshu Abhadreshu. Abhadreshu means all the impurities, all the calamities, all the impurities, all the contaminations of the heart will eradicate. Nashta Prayeshu. That means it will be diminished. So it's very important, and thank you so much for being there. And this is a very wonderful section, and especially for us, that all the instructions. Just 1 minute. Especially Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, these are the scriptures we should always rely on everything. So this gives us that transcendental understanding, and that this way our life will be very perfect. So this section we were going through, this is titled as Devahudi's Lamentation. So we know that the Kardama Muni married to Mother Devahudi. We know that the context of this, that Brahmadev instructed to Kardama Muni to get married and create progenies. But Kardama Muni, like an ordinary person, didn't get into the marriage immediately with the instructions of Kardama Muni's father, Brahma. What Kardama Muni did? Kardama Muni was preparing for this marriage. And Kardama Muni went to the forest and then did a penance for 10,000 celestial years. 10,000 celestial years, Kardama Muni executed the penance and austerities. And it was severe austerities that Kardama Muni went through. We know that then finally the Lord appeared before Kardama Muni. When the Lord appeared before Kardama Muni, and Lord was instructing, and Lord could understand the desire of Kardama Muni, even Lord was present before and instructed that you would get married to the daughter of Swayambhu Manu, Devahudi, and then they will approach you, then accept her as your wife. Then we know that then this was Kardama Muni's penance was for 10,000 years. We can understand that what a powerful yogi Kardama Muni was. Then that's the time that Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa and Mother Devahudi came before the Kardama Muni. And then we know that there was discussions, and then finally Kardama Muni agreed to marry Mother Devahudi. Then Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa left. Now Devahudi was very sincerely, very attentively was serving Kardama Muni. Even though they got married, they didn't came to the union, came to the male and female union immediately after the marriage. Karda Muni was continued his yogic processes, meditating upon the Supreme Lord and the devotion, engaged in the loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Mother Devahuti was very sincerely following and serving her husband. So, as it's mentioned that why it is mentioned into the Srimad Bhagavatam, because it reveals that when Mother Devahuti or a wife serves the husbands sincerely and for the purpose, we have to see here what was the purpose of Kardamuni. Kardamuni was worshipping the Supreme Lord. The primary and the foremost duty of every living entity is reveals that the primary and the foremost duty of each and every living entity is to serve the Supreme Lord, worship the Supreme Lord, engage in the loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Save pumsha paro dharma yadur bhakti radopshache. The paradharma, there are dharma, there is regular dharma and the paradharma. That means the supreme duty of each and every living entity is come to the stage to worship the Supreme Lord. So Mother Devahuti was understanding this. Karda Muni was engaging in the devotional service, and Mother Devahuti that as a duty of a wife, that's a dharma. And so also at the same time, she was also assisting in the devotional service, that's a param dharma. So every living entity has dharma and paradharma that one has. So always the paradharma will come on the top of everything. Even dharma is there, right? There is a dharma sangha. Dharma is there, and then the paradharma. Then one what has to select? We have to select the paradharma always, because of when we water the root of a tree, like every branches, sticks, and the leaves, everything gets nourished. Like that, when we have the paradharma, all the other dharma is always covered. That's why Krishna is also mentioning in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Paritejya Mam Egam Sharanam. That's Sarva Dharman. So the attaining, the serving the Supreme Lord is the Paradharma, or worshipping the Supreme Lord, Shravana, Kirtana, Vishnu Smarana, Pada, Sevana. These are known as the Paradharma, right? Worshipping the Supreme Lord. So Sarva Dharma and Parideja, leave all the other dharmas, come to me. So when there is a dharma and paradharma, then one has to always upkeep that paradharma, that never that we should deviate from our paradharma, that means to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Devahudi was doing that. Devahudi was very attentively serving her husband, Kardamuni, in assisting the worshipping of the Supreme Lord. So Devahudi didn't care about anything else. Devahudi was serving Kardamuni and the Lord for many years. And even though it is mentioned that Devahudi was also very much well educated, and also she was well versed into the yogic process. She was also very well versed with Ashtanga Yoga. It's called Yoga Arusha. And then Kardamuni was a mystic yogi, the great yogi. And also the Mother Devahudi was also advanced in this yogic process. What was that yogic process? Not like that we say that she was always conscious of the Supreme Lord. And then she was also achieved the Ashta Siddhi, the Yoga Siddhi as well. So, but not like Kardamuni. So here the duty of this her wife, the Kardamuni's wife, the Devahudi, was now assisting her husband in the devotional service. And this was going for many years. So then here in this chapter that's called the Devahudi's Lamentation. So what happens here, when it comes here, Maitreya Muni was continuing. This is the conversation between the Maitreya Muni and the Mahatma Vidura. So we know that when Mahatma Vidura wanted to know that the lineage of Swayambhuva Manu, why? Because of Mahatma Vidura had a hint, had some information that the Supreme Lord is manifested in the lineage of Swayambhuva Manu or in the Kardama Muni. So Mahatma Vidura wanted to know that the glories of the Supreme Lord. So Mahatma Vidura asked this question to Maitreya Muni, can you explain the lineage of the Swayambhuva Manu? So that Vidura could hear the glories of the Supreme Lord. Why? Because of Lord appeared in the womb of Mother Devahuti. That was Vidura's intention. Then Lord Kapila appeared in the womb of Mother Devahuti. So we will see that in the later part of this chapters. So then what happened? Here, when Mother Devahuti, now now, then, Mahatma Vidura was, asking this one, and then as replying to Mahatma Vidura, the mother Maitreya Muni was continuing, and this is the time. Now, Swayambhuva Manu the Kardama Muni saw that the condition of the mother Devahuti. Kardama Muni saw that, and this is the time, this is the very deep devotion to the Supreme Lord. Kardama Muni didn't even think anything else. But after many, many years of the service, Kardama Muni saw that, and Mother Devahuti was very much sincerely serving her husband, the Kardamuni. And Kardamuni was thinking like this way. She was very sincere. She didn't even care about anything about her. Usually, the people, they were so much, conscious of their own self. Then only everything else comes. If anything that challenges their selfish, desires, then there will be a problem, right? Then everything else is become a problem for them. But here, very selflessly, without any care for herself, her mother Devahuti was very sincerely and very attentively and very constantly, serving and attending Kardamuni in the devotional service. So Kardamuni became so much melted in his heart, seeing this condition of, and Mother Devahuti became so skinny. She was not caring about her body or their self, the attire. And Kardamuni, seeing all this, and becomes so compassionate towards the Mother Devahuti. Then Swayambhu Munu started to speak to Mother Devahuti, and then offering very beautiful, sweet words to Mother Devahuti, and mentioned that you were very sincerely serving me. Whatever the benefit that I achieved, whatever the pious credits I achieved, I will give everything to you. I will give everything to you. And also, this is the time Kardamuni was also remembering the promise which Kardamuni made to Mother Devahuti. Said that I will give you children. This was the promise Kardamuni also gave to Mother Devahuti. So Kardamuni was mentioning that I would give all my pious credits to you because of your sincerely serving me. So it is Acharya has mentioned that. So this is the way that one has to get the benedictions from the great personalities, devotees, because they have to serve them nicely. So we know that in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 34th verse, it's mentioned that Tadviti pranipatena pariprashnena seveya upadeshandiye jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. So one should approach a guru and serve sincerely and incur from the such guru, spiritual master, because they have seen the truth. So always, dear devotees, all our activities dovetail towards to attain this transcendental knowledge, or come to or attain or engage in the loving devotional service. This is the ultimate purpose of all our existence. The ultimate purpose of our living is to that render devotional service unto the Supreme and engage in the loving devotional service unto the Supreme. That's the whole purpose, summum bonum of our existence in this world. So here everybody knew that, the great personalities knew that. So what they do, in order to understand this transcendental truth and absolute truth and the science of this Krishna consciousness, what they do, they render service very sincerely and selflessly, so that those who are receiving the service become so pleased, and they would melt and please, and they impart this knowledge. They shower their mercy upon this devotee, so that they can attain, because of this great personality, spiritual master guru. They have seen the truth or tattva. They know that the actual principles are actual tattva. So here the Kardamuni was revealing to Mother Devahuti that I would reveal all this to you, so that you will I will fulfill all the desires, and I will impart all these pious and the benedictions to you. And this is the time Mother Devahuti was again started to speak to, Kardamuni. That's where we, came to this verse. Mother Devahuti continued, "My dear Lord, I am struck by excited emotions for you." Naturally, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that usually the wife, is very much eager to have association with her husband, because of the wife always thinks that I should get a child from my husband as equal or more qualified than my husband, as equal and more qualified, because of every woman, those who are married, they always long for a child from her husband. That's the nature, and that's the nature of the feminine characteristics. So then Mother Devahudi says, therefore, kindly make what arrangements must be made according to the scripture. According to the scripture. See, this is the one another quality of a very cultured woman. That means those who are followed these scriptural injunctions, those who are born with such qualities and that culture, that sanskar, that which we received, that always, they goes through as per the directions of the spiritual master, as per the directions of the guru and the great personalities, because of it's always beneficial, right? We don't come to these kinds of situations very whimsically, like especially even we know that the initiated devotees in the Krishna consciousness, the initiated devotees, so they plan for to have a child. It's not that just for sensual pleasure they just indulge or involved into this sexual activities. No, they plan for it. They plan for it. They prepare for it. Sometimes they are actually revealed this confidential, this desire to their with their Guru Maharaj, their spiritual master. Why? Because of so that they get the great advice, so that they get all this, then they go through as per the blessings of the great personalities. So why it is Devahudi now seeing very seriously, looking everything very seriously, because of she wanted to have a child, children from the her husband Kardamamuni. That's why the mother Devahudi is revealing, because of she wanted to have a good children. So here, so that skinny body emaciated through unsatisfied passion may be rendered fit for you. So why Mother Devahudi? Mother Devahudi also was, as I mentioned, that a well-educated and very much aware of these yogic, processes, and understand that what a wife's supposed to do in order to have a good children. As Srila Prabhupada mentioned in the revealed, in the purport, that when a wife has a desire for husband, and the husband has a desire, intense desire for husband, there's a big difference it makes when the child comes. So Srila Prabhupada says that in the Ayurveda, which mentioned that when the husband has an intense desire for her wife, and how to make that intense desire for her wife, because of when the wife decorate herself beautifully, and very nice house or a very nice environment she creates, or nicely decorated, nicely arranged everything, and the quality and the characteristics and submissive mood. And what happens? This creates joy in the husband's mind. This creates a very power in her husband's mind, because of this passionate energy. That's what is which transforms to the creating a child. So this empowers the male, and then all that the mind and the intelligence, the body, everything comes in one line. Then that means the husbands wanted to have union with that wife, and with that desire, intense desire, which creates, that's why very powerful, strong, and a very intelligent child takes birth. When there is a weak, there is the desireless and the weak, just for sake of doing things. When it comes that, then also there is a difference there. So when the husband is attracted to the wife in such a way, that then what happens? A male child will be born. So that's why our Ayurveda refers all these things, and Ayurveda refers so many things, and how to approach, how to create all these, and how to make environments. And this is the way, whether you want a male child, whether you want a female child, everything is mentioned into our Ayurvedic scripture, because Ayurveda is it's a Vedic scripture, and it reveals this very confidential knowledge like this. So at the similarly, when the wife had a so intense desire for her husband, then that time the female child is born. It's not always the case. There are many other aspects into it. But this is generally Ayurvedic, that if somebody desires for it, So that's why when always wives takes the initiation to make her husband so attractive. So that way, she made her very well. So that's why exactly Mother Devahudi is revealing here to her husband Kardamani that, please make that arrangement so that, there will be a proper environment for that, a proper house. Now they are living in a hut. It may not be when living in a hut, then that mind won't be come to that, close to that, the consciousness of that, I should approach my wife. And as soon as when a beautiful lady, the husband is naturally attracted to the beautiful lady, beautiful wife in such a way that, so it's quite naturally between the husband and wife, that's allowed. So, like that, Mother Devahudi is revealing her desire, intense desire that Kardamuni should attract it to her so that they will have a nice children. So, why is all as Srila Prabhupada says that the Vedic literatures are not only full of spiritual instruction but are also instructive in how to prosecute material existence very nicely with the ultimate aim of spiritual perfection. The devotees to have a very good children in our life so that they can also develop in spiritual perfection. So this way that we all can actually get into this our path. So everything has to be dovetailed in the service of the Lord. Here, Devahudi also desiring that everything should be, if children also comes, should be very Krishna conscious children. That's why Kardamuni had 9 daughters, very beautiful daughters, very intelligent, and also the Lord Himself appeared. See that because of the penances and the services and rendered to the Kardamuni and the Mother Devahudis, and then Lord Krishna Himself came into the womb of Mother Devahudi. What else is needed? So these results, this gives us that, these evidences from the Srimad Bhagavatam that when one performs any little service to the Supreme Lord, Lord will never forget that. So it's very important that always we be Krishna conscious so that Lord will be always merciful upon us. So thank you, dear devotees. With this note, I would end here. Hare Krishna. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananda Vaishnava ki jai. So it's little over time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shimesha Prabhu. I'd like to wish everybody a safe and Krishna conscious day ahead. And we'd like to offer our prayers to the Supreme Lord by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Rama. Jai Singha, Jai Nasingha, Jai Jai Nasingha, Praladesha, Jai Padmamukha Padma, Ugra Veera Mahavishnu Jalantam Sarvatam, Narsingam Vishnu Namami. Nrsimha Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. All our humble obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas. Hindu Bhai Patitano Charantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Premanande Hari.
Thank you, Simeshwar.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.